Beyond the last orbit, the launch pad trembled beneath the weight of humanity's final hope. Dr. Ayaan Rahman tightened the straps of his suit and stared through the thick glass window of the shuttle. The sky above was painted in soft orange light, but everyone knew this sunrise carried goodbye within it. Beside him sat Commander Elara Rahman, calm and focused, her hands resting gently over the control panel. Between them sat their 12-year-old son, Sami, holding a small recorder with shaking fingers. "Mission log number 1, Sami whispered. "We are leaving Earth, to build a new home among the stars." Earth was dying. Oceans had swallowed cities. Storms tore apart entire nations. Crops failed year after year. The air itself felt tired. Humanity had searched for answers for decades, and finally they found one, a distant planet named Kepler 442b. A world believed to have water, forests, and breathable air. The Rahman family had volunteered together. "Ready?" Elara asked softly. Ayaan smiled at her, then at Sami. "For humanity." "For humanity," Sami repeated. The engines ignited. The shuttle Aurora 7 roared into the sky, shaking violently as it broke through the clouds. Sami pressed his face toward the window as the blue of Earth slowly faded into the endless black of space. "Mom," he asked quietly, "does space scare you?" Elara thought for a moment. "Only the parts we don't understand. And that," Ayaan added gently, "is exactly why we explore." Their journey would take 19 months through deep space, using a newly discovered wormhole corridor near Saturn. If calculations were correct, it would cut decades off the travel time. The first few months passed peacefully. Sami studied through virtual lessons. Elara maintained navigation systems. Ayaan worked on habitat designs for their future colony. Sometimes they floated together in zero gravity, laughing as if this were just another adventure. But space is never truly silent. One day, alarms screamed through the ship. "Radiation spike detected," Elara shouted. A massive solar flare erupted from a distant star, sending waves of radiation toward them. The ship's shields strained under the pressure. Lights flickered. Systems began to fail. "If the reactor overloads, we lose life support," Ayaan warned as he rushed toward engineering. Elara made a difficult decision. "Redirect all non-essential power to shields." "That includes artificial gravity," he replied. "I know." The ship suddenly dropped into weightlessness. Sami floated helplessly as tools drifted around him. In the engineering bay, sparks flew as Ayaan manually secured the reactor, tightening conduits with his own hands despite the burning heat seeping through his gloves. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, the flare passed. Systems stabilized. They had survived their first true test. Months later, Saturn appeared before them, majestic and golden. Near it shimmered something unnatural, a rip in space itself. The wormhole. "Once we enter," Elara said quietly, "there's no turning back." They activated cryo-sleep and surrendered to the unknown. When Sami awoke, something felt wrong. The stars outside were unfamiliar. The ship had visible damage. Warning lights blinked softly across the cabin. And then they detected it a signal. Another ship emerged from the darkness. It was unlike anything human. Curved, organic, glowing faint green as if alive. It moved smoothly, almost gracefully. Elara attempted communication in every universal format known: mathematics, radio pulses, symbolic patterns. No response. Suddenly the alien vessel attached itself to Aurora 7. Metal groaned. A breach warning echoed through the corridors. 3 beings entered the ship. They were tall and pale, with luminous eyes and elongated limbs. Their movements were fluid, unnatural. They studied everything silently. One of them moved toward Sami. Before it could reach him, Ayaan stepped in front. "Take me," he said quietly. Elara's heart stopped. A beam of brilliant light flashed. Ayaan collapsed to the floor. Sami screamed. Without hesitation, Elara fired an emergency pulse flare, temporarily blinding the creatures. She grabbed Sami and dragged him toward the sealed corridor, locking the hatch behind them. Through the small window, Sami saw his father lying motionless as the aliens examined him. Moments later, the alien ship detached and vanished into the void. Silence filled the cabin. Sami trembled uncontrollably. "Dad, he saved us." Elara held him tightly, though her own tears floated freely in zero gravity. "He gave us a chance." The ship was damaged but operational. Before his death, Ayaan had rerouted critical systems. He had prepared for failure and sacrifice. Sami later found his father's final recorded message. "If you are hearing this," Ayaan's voice said calmly, "then I trust you made it. Sami, be brave. Build something better than what we left behind." Months later, Kepler 442b appeared before them. Blue oceans, vast forests, clouds drifting peacefully across its skies. They landed hard, but safely. Elara stepped onto the surface first. The air was cool. Real. Alive. "For Ayaan," she whispered. Sami placed a small metal plaque into the soil. "Ayaan Rahman, he gave us tomorrow." Years passed. They built the first habitat dome. Crops began to grow. Water flowed clean and pure. Other human ships eventually arrived. Sami grew into a scientist, determined to understand the species that had taken his father's life. One evening, long after the colony had begun to thrive, sensors detected a familiar energy signature. The aliens had returned. Fear spread across the settlement, but this time, there was no attack. One alien approached slowly and projected an image into the air. It showed Earth, destroyed completely. Sami understood. They had not acted out of cruelty. They had studied humanity's past, its wars, its destruction, its greed. They had feared that humans would bring the same chaos to another world. Ayaan had sacrificed himself not only to save his family but to prove something. Elara stepped forward bravely. "We are not who we used to be." A long silence followed. Then the alien lowered its weapon. Peace began that day. Years later, Sami stood on a hill overlooking a thriving world where humans and aliens worked side by side. Twin suns set beyond distant mountains. He closed his eyes and whispered into the wind, "Dad, we made it." And among the endless stars, Ayaan's sacrifice lived on not as tragedy, but as the foundation of a new beginning.